I'm so grateful to be able to make another video and to send out this message to all of you. It's been 3 weeks since I've been able to post anything, and that's largely due to the fact that I went into a period of isolation starting on Good Friday. I was having chills and a temperature, and so I went into isolation. And I just talked to my doctor yesterday, and he said he's utterly convinced that I had coronavirus, but that I came out the other side of it healthy. He's going to send me for the antibody test, and we're going to find out for sure. But during that time that I was in isolation for 2 full weeks, I just experienced such an outpouring of love. My home parishes in Red Bank, New Jersey, St. Anthony's and St. James, they both, the priest remembered me at Mass. I heard that my brothers in the Knights of Columbus, 1,000 Knights of Columbus in New Jersey, were praying the rosary for me one day, and then a second day they did a Zoom call, and I think like 36 of them prayed the rosary for me. Like, who am I to receive such support and love? It can seem overwhelming. Of course, my family, my mom brought me my Easter basket. I had plenty of chocolate and Sour Patch Kids. My siblings were so super supportive. My brother, the first night I went in, ordered me Chinese food. He had to call around to 15 places to find one that was open. My sister sent me a beautiful little scented candle for my room since I was going to be locked in there for 2 weeks. And it came in a box that when you opened the box, it opened up and had all these pictures of her and I together and a beautiful little message from her. Another one of my siblings, my brother, sent me a stack this thick of Batman comics from when I was 11 years old back in 1993, which was fun to read. And my youngest brother, the very first night I went into quarantine on Good Friday, he brought me a thermometer and an oxygen meter and some snacks and Gatorade to make sure that I had everything I needed during that time. Such an outpouring of love, almost overwhelming. And I felt guilty because the second day that I was in quarantine, I was in isolation, my temperature broke. I didn't have chills anymore. And in some ways, I felt fine. I was talking to my little brother on the phone, and he said to me, "This is not a time for you to feel guilty. It's a time for you to be at peace. It's a time for you to be at peace." Well, at first, okay, thanks. I appreciate that, bro, But then, as I'm going through Good Friday, Holy Saturday, Easter Sunday, what does Jesus keep saying? "My peace I give you. Do not be afraid. I've given myself for you." A particular scripture verse became really powerful to me. John chapter 16, verse 33 to 34. And it's Jesus as he's making his way from the Last Supper, where it says that he loved them having loved them to the end, he gave them the Eucharist at the Last Supper. He washed their feet. And now he's going to the garden where he'll say, "Father, not my will, but your will be done." And as he's making his way, and we know this is such a tumultuous time for Jesus, a time that is leading up to great suffering, he speaks to his apostles about peace. The very thing that my own brother mentioned to me, be at peace during these 2 weeks. And he says to the apostles, a time is coming when you're all going to leave me, you're going to abandon me, I'll be left alone, I'll be left in isolation. But he says, but I will be at peace, for the Father is with me. For the Father is with me. And in the 2 weeks that I was in isolation, yeah, sure, I'm in a 12 by 10 room, it's small, but I had all these reminders of love. The brothers that I lived with, the friars, bringing me meals 3 times a day, people calling me on the phone, my Easter basket of chocolate and Sour Patch Kids, but most of all, prayer, being with God, experiencing that I'm not alone, but that Jesus gave everything he had so that I could have a relationship with his Father, and that put my heart at great peace. And that's my hope for all of you, and that's the lesson I learned, and it's what I'd love to share with you, is that in this time when you're in quarantine, when you're in isolation, when you're not going to school, when you're not experiencing the normal things of life, you can have a lot of tumultuousness in your heart, but be at peace. Verse 34, that scripture passage, John 16:34, says, "In this world you will have trouble and tribulation, but have no fear, for I have overcome the world. Jesus has overcome whatever battles we face, and he wants to give us peace, the peace that comes from knowing his Father. I pray that that's what you might experience in these coming days, the peace that only God can give. God bless you.